Before we start, I want to say this. If you're a beauty professional or service-based business owner who's doing all the right things, but still feels like your income depends on how much you physically show up and how many hours you can squeeze into your schedule, I built my new program for you. Limitless is for the woman who wants to earn more without adding more hours, who needs clearer strategy and the energy and identity shifts that actually move the needle in your business. It is a space where you're not doing this alone and where you can ask me questions anytime. I work super closely with you inside this container alongside a like-minded community of business owners who are serious about their growth as well, but also about life. So if you're ready to grow and want support doing it properly, book a call with me. The link is in the show notes for you. Now let's get into today's episode. Welcome to the Beauty Build podcast with me, Zara King. As a coach for beauty pros, it is my mission to help you earn more, work less, and create an unstoppable mindset. This is the show where we explore all of that. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting your beauty business, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and join us on the journey. And for more, get yourself inside my private community, the Beauty Build on Facebook. Hello, you gorgeous beauty pro, and welcome back to another episode. I'm so eager to have this conversation with you. You do not understand. Stop calling yourself just a beauty therapist or just an esthetician or just a lash tech or just whatever the hell it is that you say. If you've ever said anything like that, this episode is for you. And I bet you have said that. If you don't know me, if this is your first time, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. We have listeners from all over the world, so it's really interesting to me. And if you do love the episode, please take a screenshot and pop it on your stories and tag me. All of my details are in the description so that you can follow me on socials. There's also an intro, so I know that I'm a business coach and a mindset coach, but I have been in this industry for 14 years, and it is my mission to uplift it and also to uplift women along the way. So that is what we are here for. Now, what I'm thinking is that this word, right? This word just is costing you so much more than you realize. That is my thought process with this episode. And I actually frantically wrote down some notes to get this episode out into the world because it's like so true. So true. It is costing you so much more than you realize to say just. It's only one small 4-letter bloody word, but it is costing you so much, not just in money, by the way, but in your confidence, in your authority, and in how other people see you. So that is my thought process. What is this self-minimization going on? Like, where's the authority? Where's the pride? Why are we shrinking ourselves? You cannot build a premium business while you're shrinking yourself. You just can't. So I know this is going to open your eyes. This podcast episode is going to open your eyes because I'm going to get into it, right? I know that so many of you say this. I hear it all the time. What do? I just do this. I just do that. It's because we are so conditioned in our brains. You know, we have this like whole identity that's been built up through childhood, and we've inherited some of these stories from our society, our parents. We hold on to so many stories in our head, and we're conditioned to do like that thing where people say, well, don't get too big for your boots, right? I don't know if you've ever heard of this. When, especially, maybe it's a UK thing, I don't know. So if you're in somewhere else's, if you're in another country and you don't know what I'm talking about. For example, when I was a kid, like my parents would say, you're getting way too big for your boots. Meaning, I'm stepping out of line. I'm getting a bit too cocky, a bit too confident. So you shrink again and you shrink yourself. That's where this type of thing comes from. It's being told things like that and being conditioned to not stand out like a sore thumb, not be too confident, because confidence can equal arrogance. And also, we're conditioned as an industry. I'm just going to say it. There are some really amazing women and men in this industry doing amazing things, but the majority are self-employed women. And the majority of us in this industry have very small businesses. That is just a fact. Okay. Over 60% of the industry falls under that category. Okay. So we are in constant comparison mode, constant. And even when I started my beauty business, people were like, oh, it's just beauty. Oh, it's just a thing that you do on the side. There's a stigma in the industry that you don't need to be well educated. Okay. Apparently, we don't need to have any skill. I saw something the other day as well where somebody posted on social media a message that someone sent them like, well, you can't charge what someone else can charge when they've gone to uni and done all of these things and blah, blah, blah. Sorry, what? Right? So we have this industry stigma. We have this industry issue that we're up against as well. So I'm not blaming anyone here, by the way, for saying I'm just a beauty therapist. I'm not blaming you for saying that because I know it's like common. It's very common. But is it good? Is it helpful? Is it supportive? Shall we normalize it? No, we freaking shouldn't. And as women as well, we've learned all this. We've been taught, because putting women against women is never fun, right? So we've always been taught you don't want to be the one that's like the cocky, stand out, I'm great kind of woman, right? We've just been taught that way over centuries now. But what I want you to ask yourself when these things come into your mind, like, oh, well, I just do this, or when you catch yourself like shrinking and minimizing yourself to fit into this little small place somewhere, I want you to ask yourself, is this actually true? Is it bloody helpful? Is it supporting the goal and the vision? No. No, it is not. Put it in the bin. And actually, it's quite as easy as that. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. We don't need to mess around here. We don't need to fluff it up. We don't need to be like, I know that there are deeply rooted limiting beliefs in all of us. Okay. That's a different topic. If there's something that's really getting in the way of our lives and is, that's completely different. I'm just talking about saying things like, oh, I'm just. Right. We're all adults here. We're all big enough and ugly enough to say, I'm going to stop saying that word. I'm going to put that in the bin. There's absolutely no reason why you cannot do that. Have a reminder on your phone if you really need to say, oh, I'm not allowed to say the word just. I also I also stopped saying the word but at certain times. And instead of saying but, I say and. It's like, well, I was going to do something, but change it. Well, I was going to do something and this happened. So do you see how like the but has like the negative effect, whereas changing it to the and has a bit more of a matter of fact effect? Like it's neither positive or negative, it just is. It's just neutral. It's just a bloody matter of fact. I was going to do this and this happened. Happy days, right? Anyway, so there's a very specific, thing about language. Language is important. And there's a huge real cost of this, right? I know I've mentioned there's a massive cost on this. I've said to you, it's costing you more than just, money, more than your pocket, right? It's costing you your confidence, your authority, how people see you. Okay. When you say just, you're then likely to underprice your services because you don't have that confidence that it's worth anything of high value because it's just this or it's just that. But no doubt you're still people pleasing and you're still over delivering. You're still creating the service in a beautiful environment. You're still delivering it to the same quality as anybody else. You're probably still bending over backwards for your clients and over delivering. But you're under bloody pricing. When you say things like just, you then probably are the type of person that hesitates to sell. And when I say sell, I mean ask people to book in, tell them the next steps, say to them, this would suit you for X, Y, and Z reason. You know, you probably hesitate to use sales language in your copywriting, i.e., your wording and your captions and your stories and your posts on social media, or in your marketing copy on prime marketing space, wherever you market. Okay. You probably hesitate to sell. Probably you might not even know how to really sell, because you're the type of person, if you're saying, I'm just this, then you're the type of person that is probably going to struggle to sell and upsell as well. Cross sell, upsell, recommend. Maybe you're listening to this thinking, well, no, I'm not. No, I'm not, Zara. I'm not the type of person that can't sell. But you do say the word just. Okay. So why is it that we are just then? I'd like to ask you that question. I think the majority of you probably just don't like to see yourself as the person that I'm describing, because it's not a very fun pill to swallow when I say you are probably underpricing then, and I'm assuming that you don't do this then. But let me tell you, that's perception. And I'm not the only one that's going to perceive you that way. Oof. It hurts, doesn't it? That's the whole point of this part. I want you to feel that. I'm not the only person that is going to make assumptions about your pricing, your business, the way you run it, the way you people please, the way you sell. In fact, I don't think you really should sell to me. It hurts, doesn't it? Now, obviously, I don't really think this about you. I know you're more than capable of selling. I know you can bloody do it if you put your mind to it. You're on this podcast, you listen regularly. If you're in my world, you know what you should be doing. But you feel awkward talking about your business because you're saying things like I'm just this. No, you're not. And we don't want you to be overlooked like I'm describing. I don't want this overlooking stuff happening to you. I really don't. Because guess what? It's not only going to happen with clients, it's going to happen with friends and family that won't take your business so seriously. It's going to happen with opportunities that could have come your way, but they won't come your way because you're just a beauty therapist. You're not standing for anything. You're not backing yourself. People buy from people. You've heard that one. I know you have. Everyone's heard that one. Have you heard this one, though? People do not pay for what you do. They pay for how you position it. And that goes for the clients that you're trying to get through the door. That goes for the opportunities that might come your way in the industry, with brands, with publications, with different people. Have you ever wondered when you see accounts on social media, for example, and I don't care about the following size, by the way, that is not where this is going. They could have a massive following. I do not care. They could have a very small following. I do not care. You can tell when someone backs themselves, can't you? On social media, you get that vibe. You get the pull. You feel it. Have you ever wondered why they're getting the opportunities that they get? They back themselves. It doesn't say in their bio, I'm just a beauty therapist. And therefore, they're not saying that out loud either. That's not how they carry themselves. They carry themselves by putting their best foot forward. I literally love that saying. I used to have that, when we were actually, I'm showing my age, but there was somewhere online that we used to have like just a space for a one-liner, and that would be my one-liner years and years and years ago. And it would always say, put your best foot forward. So I hope you can see that, this is why two people could have wildly different income, wildly different success, whatever success looks like to you. And that's a different topic as well, because, success looks completely different to everybody. So let's not go down that route right now. But let's just say two people could have completely different income levels, but doing the same bloody treatments, almost the same setup, almost the same qualification, like literally. Okay, it pains me because your competence, the fact that you're good at what you do, that isn't going to be rewarded on its own. That isn't what people are paying for just because you're good at what you do. That's the entry point. Okay. If you don't see yourself as an authority, as an absolute business queen, as a person who knows her shit, as the person who won't take less than. If you don't see yourself like that, why would anybody else see you like that? Why? They wouldn't, and they don't. And this is what plays out in front of me daily. And when I say daily, I mean fucking daily. I am in conversation with you all daily. And I know, right? I've also been there. So again, if you're listening to this thinking, well, Zara, how are you in this position to say this? I can say this because I've been there, right? I have showed up in that way where I'm like, oh, I just run my little beauty business. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, I said, I was taught, don't be too big for your boots. I was also told when I first trained in beauty, well, you're not going to just do beauty, are you? That's not a serious career path. Okay. Sorry, Karen. Sorry if your name's Karen, because I actually do have a client called Karen and she's lovely. Just happens to be that word, that name. Anyway, I've shown up that way before because of my conditioning, okay? And I've had to learn, I've had to adapt, I've had to grow, I've had to change. And, at first, obviously that was affecting my pricing. Obviously, it was affecting how I bent over backwards, spent so long with a certain client because, I wanted to keep pleasing them and keep pleasing them. And, the fussy ones that won't shush and then you carry on. And I was attracting people that wanted something for nothing. Why? Because I thought I was just a beauty therapist. It affected the opportunities that came my way. It affected how long I stayed in this burnt out cycle of earning peanuts and not loving life. And the moment I realized that language and internal dialogue mattered, obviously I changed it. Right? But I want you to know this is ongoing work. Saying the word just is your starting point. Okay? I'm bringing this to your awareness. Even if you've heard it before, you're not getting out of it because I know you probably still have said it. Unless somebody's broken all of these reasons down to you that I am, like I'm making it seriously clear to you that we have to stop this crap. Okay? The words you say out loud and the words you say inside your mind, which is what I mean when I say internal dialogue, they are so important. There's always going to be that little bit of fear inside of you, that little bit of discomfort that's like, oh, okay, this feels a bit tingly. I don't really know if I back myself yet, right? Because you're stepping into someone else, you're stepping into a new identity. You want to go for more. When you decide to make that decision, and that's all it is, by the way, is a decision to stop one thing and start another thing, okay? When you're stepping into that, you're stepping into a little bit more authority. And you're like, oh, okay, this feels funky. Who am I to do this? And that's where a lot of other little things are going to come up. And you're going to go, no, is that true? Is it fucking helpful? Excuse me, I keep swearing on so many of these episodes lately. I think it's because I'm in the thick of it with so many transformations in my clients, and it's so good. And I just love it so much. And I get so passionate when I talk about it. And like my experiences, by the way, day to day are what fuel these episodes. And I always said in season 2, I'm keeping it raw and real. I'm not just picking topics out of thin air and like gonna go on a topic spree and just, this stuff is so passionate inside of me because it's like I make these notes while I'm working and I'm like, I'm going to do a podcast on that. And it flows through me so much. So I get so passionate about it. So apologies if you like driving with the kids in the car or anything and I'm F-bombing all over the show. I'm sorry. You'll have to just, learn to learn to tell the kids that Zara's got a potty mouth. Apologies. But you're stepping into more authority. You're stepping into all this like audacity. I love that word. How on earth do they have the audacity to do that? I just love the word audacity. And with that, my point is, you get this whole fear of judgment. You get this whole like, oh my gosh, what are people going to say? Am I being too much? Right? But it's so important that you don't back down. So important. Don't back down. Hold it. Hold the feeling, validate the feeling, and move through it. Decide, A, it's not helpful, it's not true. B, I would much rather think and feel this way instead. I.e., if I thought, oh my God, I'm scared of what people are going to say, am I being too much? I'm going to hold that thought and I'm going to go, whoa, no. A, it's not true because why should I care what people think and I'm not being too much? And B, it's not bloody helpful in supporting of my goals. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to adopt a different thought. And that's going to change the way I feel about it. So I'm going to decide, actually, my new thought is, I'm doing this anyway because I believe in X, Y, and Z. Because what you'll realize is that your external world isn't going to change if you stay who you are on the inside. Nothing external will change until that internal shift happens. You've probably heard the saying before, your internal reality creates your external reality. It is the truth, the full truth, and nothing but the truth. You're not just anything. You're not just a beauty therapist. You're not just a lash tech. You're not just a skin therapist. You're not just a salon owner. You're not just anything, okay? You are a skilled professional. You are qualified. You actually solve people's problems too, by the way. You are problem solving for your clients and for whoever else sits in your chair or comes to you and talks to you. You are a specialist in something. You might not have realized that yourself yet, but you are a specialist in something. You lead the way for your clients and potentially for the people in your space, in your wider world as well. So this language really matters because it is either helping us towards our goals or hindering us. Because the language that we speak creates thoughts. Like we speak things because we think them. We say what we think, okay? And when we think, it triggers a feeling. So we speak and we then trigger a feeling. Every word that we speak has this feeling attached to it. And the feeling is either going to be helpful and supportive or not. And then so that is going to trigger some form of action. The results in the external reality are always a result of your thoughts, your feelings, your actions. So you really need to work on this identity stuff because it precedes strategy every time. Like I said, your internal world creates the external reality. So why would strategy win alone? Like, why would we be able to do a strategy that creates exponential results in our world if we weren't the person that was ready to appreciate, to hold it, to expand with it, to develop it? You know, why that would just, it isn't reality. It's not how it works. And it is actually quite difficult to do all of this on your own. There are going to be blind spots because it feels so normal to think the way you think, to say the things you say on autopilot. We literally fall into patterns around everything. Our day to day is on autopilot. I think 90% or 95% of our thoughts and what we do is just happening without us even realizing. We don't have to think about certain things because it just happens. We're so used to it, right? And that's why it's really important to have somebody that can pull you up and spot your blind spots if you know that this is an issue. This is what we do inside my programs, inside Limitless or inside my one-to-one containers, because I created spaces like this for women who are ready for this identity upgrade and who need somebody that can see their blind spots because they're too emotionally attached. They're too bloody close to their businesses and too close to themselves as a person. And that's okay, you know? So doing it with somebody else will close that sort of time frame of how long it can take. It's ongoing work. We'll always do this. It's never finished. But having somebody that can pull you up every day. Literally, I was on the phone to a client today and I was like, stop you there. Why are we using that language? You know, that type of thing. She's been working with me for weeks now. I want you to be able to take up space. I want you to
Absolutely back yourself. Love yourself. Know yourself so fucking well. Hold yourself to a really high standard and expect that from other people. And by saying just, you're not going to get there. So I want you to take what you can from this episode today. Ask yourself, how do you introduce yourself when you meet people? How do you tell them what you do? How do you talk about your work online and offline and internally in your own head? And how are you downplaying yourself in conversations? Because your business is never going to outgrow the way you see yourself. It has a massive knock-on effect. So I'm going to leave you there. Hope you've loved it. If you have, take a screenshot, pop it on your stories and tag me. And leave us a 5-star review because you know I'll love you forever if you do that. But thank you so much for being here, and I'll leave you there. See you on the next one.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insights that will help you in your beauty business and life. If you did, please take a screenshot and tag me in your stories. If you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me on any of my socials. The links are always in the descriptions. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you more and more great content. Until next time, keep building that business.